What's up, everybody? Troll here. Long time no see. Starting from today, we are going to explore different cloud services, and our first tutorial is going to be about Azure Cosmos DB. We'll learn how to connect from C# to Azure Cosmos DB, how to write our own CRUD application using C# and Azure Cosmos DB combination. As you might know, nowadays cloud technologies are really important, and especially in almost all sorts of job descriptions related to senior, mid, junior engineers, you may face that they are requiring cloud skills like Azure, AWS, DigitalOcean, and others. So starting from today, we are going to explore Azure, and in our next tutorials, we'll learn about AWS services also. So let's get started. First of all, we need to navigate to portal.azure.com in order to use Azure services. After registration, if you don't have registration, please register, and Microsoft will provide a free trial for you to use. And when you register, you will see this Microsoft Azure window where you can select popular services or just search for the exact services. We are going to use Azure Cosmos DB. Now let's search for Azure Cosmos DB, find it, and from the tab, you will not see the exact database name which I have right now if you are starting from scratch. If not, just select your database. If you are starting from scratch, click on create button, and it will navigate you to this window where you can select different purpose of Azure Cosmos DB. And from here, we are going to be Azure Cosmos to use Azure Cosmos DB for NoSQL. Let's click create, and from the workload type, let's select, we are just learning right now, let's select learning. And from the subscription, you can select your exact subscription. If you have free and paid subscription, it doesn't matter, you can select any of them from here. And the resource group is exactly the, let's say, namespace for your different services. You can group your services on the resource group. I have different resource groups. I can select any of them from here, or if you don't have, just click create and type any resource group name you want. Okay, and from the account name, please provide a unique name for you to your Azure Cosmos DB. Maybe Azure Cosmos first DB, I don't know, something like this. I already have my own Azure Cosmos DB, so I'm not going to create everything from scratch. After everything is okay, don't change other stuff, just go to review and create, and from here just review what you are going to do, and if everything is okay, just hit create. You see, I have some sort of validation problem. Let's go back because we don't have resource group selected from here, and let's see what else we are missing. I think everything should be okay right now because we have the account name. Let's use a bit different account name. Next. Don't change anything. Next, let's wait for it. It should pass the validation. If validation passed, then just click the create button. Okay, I'm not going to create it because it will take some time to prepare the infrastructure. That's why I'm going to use my exact database, which I created later before our tutorial. This is our Azure Cosmos 1. You can use any of the Azure you created right now, Azure Cosmos DB. And let's navigate to browse to see what we have. From the collection, I have prod container. From the database, I have prod DB. If you don't have this stuff, just go to the overview and hit add container. And from the inputs, let's fill all the required stuff. We are going to create our product infrastructure, product database. That's why we are going to have the product DB as our database ID. From the container, I'm going to use prod container. I'm not going to dive into the theoretical stuff related to Azure Cosmos DB. Just do what I'm doing right now. In our next tutorial, we'll talk about the theoretical stuff related to Azure Cosmos DB. Okay, and this is our partition key. I'm going to use my category. Why? Because I will create a product model. In my product model, I will have category. I want to create partitions based on my category because related to scalability, etc. in our Azure Cosmos DB. We're not going to dive, as I mentioned, theoretical stuff. So let's start the just category. So we have the database, we have container, we have partition key as category, and let's see. Okay, after you click OK, you will have such type of structure. So as you see, I have product DB. Inside it, I have product container, and I have items. These items are going to be your, let's say, rows. Right now, it automatically provides select star from C query, but I don't have anything right now in my database. That's why it is empty. Okay, and in order to connect to Azure Cosmos DB, you need to find the key section, and from the key section you have primary key connection string. You see the primary connection string. You can just copy it and paste it to app settings, but this is a really bad approach. Why? Because from the security perspective, it is not a good way of implementing the communication between Azure Cosmos DB and C#. So in our next tutorial, we'll talk about how to secure your keys. But for now, we are just learning. So let's just copy it and open our Visual Studio. We'll create our ASP.NET Core Web application. Let's select ASP.NET Core Web API, hit next. It is going to be my Azure Web App. Let's select Azure Web App. Let's hit next. And from the framework, let's select .NET 9. Okay. And it will create a simple template boilerplate for us to use ASP.NET Core Web API. And first of all, let's create our product model. Right click, and you can create a separate model folder. It is our models. Okay, let's right click, add class. And from the class, I'm going to create a product. For my product, I will have string ID. It is actually GUID, but we'll use string. Public string, it is the name of the product. I'm going to have the exact category as we provided in our Azure Cosmos DB, like a partition key. This is our exact partition key. We are partitioning our data based on category, and public double the price of the product. Okay, that's good. Now let's go to app settings and provide all the configuration related to Azure Cosmos DB. So I'm going to have Cosmos, let's call it Cosmos, okay? The Cosmos subsection here. And for the Cosmos, I'm going Cosmos, let's call it Cosmos DB. That's even better. And we have connection string. Let's provide our connection string directly here. We have a database. Just copy the database name. It is product DB, and the container is prod container. That's good. That's good. Well, our configuration is ready, and let's go to right click at folder, and I'm going to have services folder here, and let's create our interface to have the exact product service. So iProduct service, iProduct service. This is our product service. I will have different behaviors in my product service. This is task, enumerable, product. Let's call product. Okay, let's right click, quick actions, model, and let's call it get all asynchronously. I think that's good. Task, product, nullable. Come on, let's use our product. Why you don't see it? Okay, this is our product. Get by ID asynchronously. This is our string ID, string category. That's also good. We will have task, product. What else we need? We need create asynchronously using the product task, product, update the exact product. That's also good. And the last one is, I think this should be the just task and delete asynchronously. It is our string ID and string category. Category. Okay. Good. This is our interface implementation. Let's go to right click, add class, and we will have product service. Our product service will work with Azure. So let's use Azure product service. Let's hit enter and let's implement our iProduct service. We are going to move all the business related operations to on the Azure product service. We don't want our controller to communicate with Azure. We don't want to create title coupling between our controller and exact Azure service. Why? Because in the future, we may change our underlying database structure to the different service. Okay. So here we need, first of all, to integrate our Azure Cosmos DB. So let's go to tools, NuGet package, and from here, let's install package Microsoft Azure Cosmos. This is our Cosmos DB DLL. Okay, let's hit enter. Let's wait for it to be installed. Okay. And voila, it's okay. Cool. Now I've installed our Cosmos DB. So we have using Microsoft Azure Cosmos. We need to have Microsoft Azure Cosmos. Let's go to dependencies, packages. So you see something is wrong here. Let's go to tools, NuGet package, package manager console. I would say maybe install package Newton soft JSON. Let's hit enter. Okay. Microsoft Azure, we need to have private read only the container class from Azure. This is our container. Okay, good. And from the constructor, let's go to inject our configuration because we need to read information from app settings. It is better to use options parent, but right now we are just learning. So let's use the configuration directly. In my configuration, I have Cosmos DB connection string. Good. And this is our new Azure, new Cosmos client. Yes. This is our Cosmos client. Let's get it as an object. Cosmos client. Now we have our Cosmos client. From the Cosmos client, we need to get our database and we need to provide our, of course, the exact configuration and var database. And from the E, we need to retrieve our container, get container. Okay, this is our container. Good. Now we have container as an object. Good. Now let's go to implement one by one all these behaviors. Okay, first of all, I'm going to start from get all. This is one of the complex one. Okay, we have our query equal to our container get query iterator. Okay, get query iterator. We need to provide the product because we are retrieving our product information, and let's provide our exact query. Select star from C. It is not a good approach to retrieve all the information, but it is for learning purpose. Let's do it. Query. It is always better to use pagination when you retrieve such type of information. Let's create our list product result. It is going to be our result, and let's while query has more results. If we have more results, let's get our response as a waitable query. The next one, read next asynchronously, and result at range, result dot dot at range. This is our response, and at the end return result. This is how we are retrieving all the information from our Cosmos DB. Okay, now let's switch to our get by ID asynchronously. Let's open our try. We may end up with Cosmos DB exception. Okay, and in order this, let's just return null. But as you know, I really love working with result stuff. I have different tutorials related to result pattern, and you can change it to result pattern to make it more robust. Okay. And what else we have here? War. This is our response, awaitable. This is our container, and from the container, let's read. This is not read container. Read. We need to read item asynchronously. This is our product. Come on, this is our product object. Okay, and let's provide our. It requires from us the exact ID, new partition key. This is our category. Okay, that's good. That's good. And now return response dot resource. The resource is going to be our exact data we read from the database. Okay, that's good. Now let's implement our which one? Let's implement our create one. Okay, so for the create one, we are checking our product ID. If we don't have product ID, then let's use new ID, new GUID, of course, new. Come on, new GUID to string. Okay, that's good. That's good. And let's do in this way. Var response equal to awaitable. This is our container dot create item asynchronously. Create item asynchronously requires the exact product, new partition key with product dot category. Okay, and return. I would say let's return response dot resource. That's good. That's good. We have the create functionality. When we create our product, we need to use create item. You need to provide your product with partition key. For the get all item, we need to use get item query iterator. And for the get by ID, we need to use read item, provide the exact generic type. This is our product. And what else? We have only delete and update as not implemented functionalities. So let's start from the maybe delete one. Okay, let's awaitable. This is our container. This is delete item asynchronously, ID, new partition key, category. Good. What else? Delete item, product. Okay, now let's switch to our update one. Var response equal to container and replace item. This is our product. Why it is typing such stupid class name? Okay, so our product, we need to replace our product. What else? We need to provide our product ID with new partition key product category. Okay, this is our update, and return our response result. I would say not result, but let's use await response resource, of course. Response resource. Well, that's the easiest way of implementing our Azure product service. Now let's switch to our controller called product controller. In order to implement our controller, let's go to right click on controllers folder, add class. You can select directly the controller stuff. Let's create our product controller. Our product controller will have the API controller attribute with wrote the exact controller, and we'll inherit from controller base. Okay, this is our controller base. Great. Now let's inject our product service, private read only I product service, and let's use our product service. This is our, you can call it just a service, okay? This is total okay. Service equal to service. For the naming stuff, it would be better to have product service, but right now it is what it is. So let's implement our first functionality. It is our get all function. Get all function is going to have this type of signature, public async I action result get all, and let's return our okay, awaitable service dot get all asynchronously. This is our get all for our HTTP getting for the single value. Let's implement our ID, our category, because we require ident category provided by user. This is our public async task I action result get by ID asynchronous, or just get by ID. And from here, let's provide our string ID, string category. Great. What else? Right now, we need to retrieve our product, and we will use service dot get by ID. This is our ID. This is our category. Okay. Now, if the given product is null, return not found. Yes. Otherwise, return okay with product. This is really simple. You already know about ASP.NET Core Web API implementation, the controller implementation. If you don't have, just check my ASP.NET Core Web API from scratch tutorial. So now let's switch to our HTTP. Maybe let's implement HTTP put. Our put will have the ID parameter, public async task I action result update. This is our ID with product to be updated. Okay, good. Let's see if we see it. Okay, we don't have product reference right now. Let's add it. This is our product. If the given ID is not equal to product's ID, it means something is wrong. Let's return bad request with ID is not correct or mismatched. The same. Okay, var updated data. Let's call our service update asynchronously. What type of argument we are requiring? This is our product. Let's use await. Good. And let's return okay updated. That's how we are simply updating our product. Now the other one is going to be our HTTP post. For HTTP post, we'll have public async. Oh, come on. Public async task I action result. Let's call it create, and we'll get product information like product. Okay, and var created data is equal our service dot create asynchronously. Let's provide our product. Okay, and let's return created at action name of our get. Yeah, it is get by ID. It is get by ID, and new ID equal to product dot ID. I would say not product by ID, but created dot ID. Okay, and category is equal to created dot category. That category. Why? Because we don't have a wait. Yeah. ID created that category, and the last and the third argument is going to be our created data. That's good. And let's implement our HTTP delete. It is really easy. The same signature. Task, action, result, delete. This is our ID. This is our category. So we need to provide ID from the HTTP delete attribute also. String ID, string category. And let's use the same stuff like this. Let's copy it, paste it here. So we have ID, we have category, that's good. And let's call await service delete asynchronously ID category and return no content. Great. I would say that should be all we have. HTTP put, HTTP, of course, sorry, it is HTTP post, not patch. Okay, HTTP delete, put, get. Yeah, that should be all. Now let's just simply test our service and see if it is working or not. Now we are ready to test our application, but before moving forward, make sure that in our program CS you already add the dependency from a product service. So you should have a product service, Azure product service, and also go to our product in Azure Cosmos DB. The version under 4 requires JSON property. It is ID. Even on the 3 requires JSON property, and till 4 it requires JSON property name. Let's use JSON property ID and JSON property category like this. And so it would be better to have it for all sorts of properties like name and of course for price. Okay, now we are able to test our application. Let's run our application and go to the Postman, and from Postman you should of course provide some sort of CRUD, but the ID will be any data you provide here. Something like this is also okay, but we are always using the CRUD information. Okay, and let's send our request and see if everything is working. So we have this type of ID. It should retrieve the ID with other properties. Here we are. Now we are able to go to our Azure, and in Azure Cosmos, let's go to our container to see if we have information. So this is our product stuff. Let's go to the Azure Cosmos 1, and from Azure Cosmos 1 you have Data Explorer, and in Data Explorer you will see all these items. I have added multiple items, so this is our IDs to see, and we're able to test our other endpoints. Like Get is already working, because when you post you are also getting data. We have implemented such type of functionality in our controller, so it is working. But anyway, let's test it. This is our HTTP GET. This is my ID. And what else we are requiring? We are requiring only, I would say, ID and category. Okay, this is our ID and this is our category. It's our category. Let's just none, use none. Let's send our request. And here we are. This is our information. So get is working, our post is working. You can test all these endpoints one by one. For example, HTTP put, we have the exact ID here. Let's go to row JSON information. I want to change my test name. Change it, test name. Okay, the price is going to be 4,500. Let's send. And we have 4,500 and this is our changed name. Everything is working, and let's try to retrieve all information from product. This is our get. Let's see what controller requires. Just HTTP get, nothing else. Let's hit send and see what we have in our database. It should retrieve all the information. So here we are. And the last one is delete. For example, I want to delete this one. Let's provide the ID and the category. And HTTP delete. Let's send our request. This is our test name. Okay, let's go to get and try to retrieve all the data, and let's send it again and to see if data is deleted. And here we are, our data is deleted. That's how we are simply integrating Azure Cosmos DB to our application. Well, that's all. If you like my videos, please don't forget to subscribe, hit like button, share, and I'll see you in the next tutorials. Bye.